Got to get back in the gym, guys. I got to get back out there boxing. What is going on, everybody? Let's go live on Instagram here real quick. Going live there. All right, we're all set. Good morning, everybody. 8 a.m. on the dot, Thursday, November 21st. Thank you so much for hanging out here and being part of the Sliwa Show. We got a packed house today. I got all my topics up here on the left. We got a lot of good stuff to get into. A good friend of mine that's in the business, been in the business for a long time. Guest Mark Medina is going to join the show. But before we get started, I just want everyone to enjoy their cup of joe. Already had a full cup of coffee. Now I'm on some black tea. So we're going black tea here. So whatever it is that you're drinking this morning, whatever the mindset and the vibe looks like this morning, hang out with me for an hour. Hopefully by the time you're done with an hour, you feel good about the day. Maybe you already felt good. Maybe I brought you down by the time the day was done. Quote of the day. Here's the thing. I decided this last night when I was looking for a quote. I'm going to just give you guys a quote if I feel like, hey, that's a badass quote. That's a great quote. I won't force it if it doesn't need to be forced, or I'm going to force it down your throat if I feel like, hey, it's a good quote. Here's a quote of the day. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. That's a badass quote. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. Look within, as they say. Look within, as they say. A little Zen chat right there. A little Zen this Thursday morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of the show, and then we're going to get started. Okay, I finally did this right here. Here are the topics. We got an update. So yesterday we obviously spent some time talking about Jared Vanderbilt, and then we finally got an update on Vando. So we're going to spend a little time on that. LeBron leaving social media. That's not really the story. I guess my question is going to be more about social media in general. Help things? Does it not help things? I got a quick story. When I left 710 ESPN, I kind of stayed away from social media for a little bit. Oh, there's some positives there, but Bron said he's going to stay away from it. ESPN has a power ranking, and I want to talk about where the Lakers sit in that power ranking. Who was it that did it? Was it The Ringer? I think The Ringer has a player ranking that looked a little absurd to me, so I figured I'm going to share that with you guys as well, where they put Anthony Davis. I think people do this on purpose because then they know idiots like me are going to end up talking about it on their show. I mentioned Mark Medina, who covers the NBA and does a fantastic job covering the league, covering the Lakers. We're going to spend some time on that. And then, like I said, he'll kind of hit us up on some Lakers stuff. He'll be at the game tonight. Lakers taking on the Orlando Magic. Roki Sasaki. I don't know if these are updates, but a couple more articles out there about Roki. So we'll talk about it and see if he's any closer to signing with the San Diego Padres. Yeah, why not? Yeah, come to San Diego. Come hang out. Got great fish tacos. Take you down to Coronado. What a beautiful. Roki, you ever been to Coronado before? My God. You ever been to Point Loma? You ever been to San Cabrillo, the Cabrillo National Monument? Oh, my God. It's amazing out there. I'm going to have to put my pitch on for Roki. And then I think I mentioned this to you guys. Every Tuesday and Thursday, got to see it. If I see something on social, on YouTube, something like that, I feel like sharing, I'm going to share it with you guys. So let's get the show started. I got a lot of people already talking about. There was one comment here that I thought was pretty cool. Let's see what we got here. Not often do I get to catch you live from Israel. Amir, thank you, brother. Thank you very much for tuning in live from Israel. You are always welcome, as is anybody else, whether you're tuning in Cali or you're tuning in anywhere else. Good morning to a couple other people. Hi, Al. A lot of trade here from Jack Daniels. Every time I look, Jack Daniels trading another lady. He's probably going to trade my ass. What's poppin', Slee? Marcus, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys all being here. Okay, so yesterday we spent a little time and we were talking a little bit about we spent a little time talking about Jared Vanderbilt. When is this guy coming back? I mean, this guy hasn't played since February 1st, 2024. Lakers had a game, if you guys remember, against the Boston Celtics. LeBron and Anthony Davis didn't play in that game. They were supposed to get their asses kicked, and then all of a sudden, They won that game. But in that game, a regular season game, Lakers were kind of reeling at that point, and then that kind of really changed the rest of the trajectory of the Lakers and changed the season. But at that point for the Lake Show, they were struggling. They get that win against the Boston Celtics, but unfortunately in that same game, Jared Vanderbilt goes down with an injury. Yesterday, Dave McMenamin tweeted this out. Lakers practice yesterday, so I'm pretty sure this is coming from practice, and it's coming from JJ Redick. Here's what Dave McMenamin said about Vando. Jared Vanderbilt's ramp up after offseason foot procedures in May has gone slower than the Lakers anticipated, per the team. There have been no setbacks. However, he'll be reevaluated in a couple weeks, per the team. All right, it's kind of weird, when they say there's been no setbacks, but I don't know if anybody expected him for him to be out as long as he is, or maybe his recovery process is taking a lot longer than he anticipated. Whatever it is, there's a difference between coming back. If you're a Laker fan out there and you say, "Oh, okay, so that means Jared Vanderbilt's coming back in a couple weeks." No, it doesn't. What it means is that they're going to reevaluate him in a couple weeks, and then based on that reevaluation, all right, he's good to go. All right, now you're going to start that ramp up process, on court activity, whatever it is. He's not coming back anytime soon. At least it doesn't sound like. If he's going to be reevaluated in a couple months, I'd be shocked if he's actually in a Laker jersey playing in games by the time, we get to Christmas. Maybe not shocked, but I'd be surprised. I think the best way to look at Jared Vanderbilt at this point is you got to look at this team. You got to look at this roster. You got to see what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. And then you also got to stop depending on Jared Vanderbilt. I had a couple of people yesterday when I brought up Vando. And I didn't read the comments when they were live, but I read them a little bit later in my post-game show analysis of the Sliwa show. I got a whole team. There's 37 of us that watch every minute. It's like, you guys ever seen those boardrooms where you have all the CEOs and all the board members looking at PowerPoints and everything? That's what we do with my show right when the show is done. I was looking at one of the comments. One of the comments said, "Al, you just can't depend on Jared Vanderbilt, period." I think I'm starting to lean towards that. That doesn't mean that Vando can't come back. That doesn't mean that eventually Jared Vanderbilt can't contribute to the Lakers. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But what it means is, at least for today, I don't think you could look at this Lakers team right now and say, okay, well, here's what it's going to look like when Vando returns. I would rather wait. Let's wait for Vando to come back, whenever that is. Maybe that's a month from now. Maybe that's a month and a half from now. Maybe it's in 3 weeks. Probably best case scenario, probably by the time you get to Christmas that he's back. But kind of planning around Vando, what it's going to look like, how effective he's going to be for the Lakers, I'm putting the pause on that. I definitely got some hesitation on that. And I think that comment that hit me yesterday, I was like, no, he's coming back. He's coming. Reevaluated in a couple of weeks. I think the Lakers, at least at this point, you're approaching Jared Vanderbilt, at least for the near future, of, all right, we'll just kind of, if and when he does come back, and if he's feeling good and he's feeling healthy, then you could start to calculate how he's going to help this Lakers team. I still think he's an incredibly important piece for the Lakers. I think a lot of people thought yesterday in that last year in that playoff run, when he wasn't able to come back for the playoffs, they thought that was critical. I don't disagree. Another guy that you can have guarding Jamal Murray, certainly that would have helped. They're going to need him this year, because you can't be a team that's just relying on offense. You can't be a team that's just, you got to have defenders. You got to have players that can get you stops. We know Anthony Davis can do that, but can some of these other players? Not necessarily. So that's the latest on Vando, and unfortunately, it doesn't sound like there's a clear-cut date of when Vando's coming back. He'll be back no sooner than Christmas. I agree with you on that. I count more in my ex over Vando. Brian, thank you for sharing that. Hopefully, everything's going well with your personal life and that relationship that you had. Vando is a bonus if he ever comes back. No need to factor him in as an asset. Here's the problem, Dave, and I appreciate the comment there. Brian, again, thank you for sharing with us your personal life. We appreciate that. Everybody here is more than happy to help in any way possible. I don't think you could look at Vando as a bonus because they need him. If you said, let me give you a name. If Christian Wood came back and he was productive, that to me is a bonus. Vando is critical. If Max Christie was all of a sudden was better off with his contributions and felt more comfortable and actually day to day was an asset to the Lakers, that to me is more of a bonus. Vando is critical. That's why they gave him the 4 years that they gave him with that extension. And a lot, I go back to this and I'll say it again. Players like that, you got to have in the league, you got to have on your team. If you're going to make deep playoff runs, you got to have guys that are specialists on the defensive side. He's a specialist on the defensive end. So I don't know if he's a bonus. I think I know what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is you can't depend on him. If he does come back, then you capitalize that he's there. But I think there's a bigger issue there. I think he's going to be a critical piece for the Lakers. They're going to need him back. All right, let me read a couple more comments here. Thank you, Sleep. No, thank you, Brian. Thank you again for sharing all that. They also got to be proficient, taking advantage of the other team missed shots, more scoring, more opportunities. I'm sure that's off a different comment. I'm coming in late on that one. Okay. Before I get Mark Medina on, let me kind of power through a couple things here. LeBron leaving social media. Okay, is what it is. You say he's taking a break from social media. I guess one of Kevin Durant's longtime managers posted something on X, on Twitter, basically kind of saying that, all these social platforms, none of them are helpful. I'll read it. We can all acknowledge that sports is the last part of society that universally brings people together. So why can't the coverage do the same? It's only clickbait when you say it, when the platform is so big. Again, this is from Rich Klein. I think it's Kleinman, Kevin Durant's longtime manager. Basically, what he's saying is that Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff is a waste of time. LeBron posted on Instagram, amen. He posted on X, damn shame what it is, what it's come to. Anyways, he's taking a break. I don't think the world's going to end. I know he had said something to the effect of, kind of related Dalton Connect into this when he was saying that he was watching Dalton Connect before the Lakers drafted him and he thought he'd be a good player for the Lakers. A lot of people gave him, crap or whatever the case is. I'll just say this. I don't know how you guys all feel. I don't know how much time you guys are spending on social. I think it's probably healthy for a lot of these players to stay off of social media, especially a player as big as LeBron is. You guys ever taken a break from social? So I wish I could. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When I was at 710, you really couldn't because you were integrating X and Instagram and all this stuff. You were integrating them to your shows. So it was almost irresponsible not to have that. It was another way to interact with listeners, blah, blah, blah. You were and trust me, it's not like I was crazy on there. I wasn't posting a ton, any of that stuff, but I was constantly on there. When I left 710, I pretty much, I don't want to say I took a full month off of no, social media, but I basically, I wasn't doing a daily show anymore. This show hadn't started yet. So I did take a break from it. And I'll be honest with you. If tomorrow I'm no longer doing a show, there's a good chance I'm not going to be active on social media, period. There's a strong chance I wouldn't be active on social media. It's just too much. Like you can find yourself scrolling for hours and hours and not even realizing it, and then walking away and saying to yourself, what the hell was I just doing? Well, that was a waste of time. Or you're getting videos and then that's taking you somewhere else. It's not necessarily the most, it's not necessarily the best environment, I guess you could say. Sometimes it could be incredibly negative, this, that. I mean, around the election. I mean, go watch. Go sit on X and on Instagram and everything else around the election. It's good to get a breather. I think a lot of these athletes, again, I go back to it, especially LeBron. Can you imagine what's in LeBron's feed every single day? Whether it's basketball related, whether it's politics related, whether it's Bronny related, whether it's family related, whether it's you name it. Can you imagine? I mean, I know there's only one LeBron James, and that's an extreme example, but Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible idea sometimes to take a little time off social media. Let's keep going. Lakers got the Magic coming up tonight. Um, I'm gonna say this, and that was definitely audio's back to normal. I'm gonna say this on tonight's game. Lakers got a chance to do something that's a little bit unique right now. A little bit unique for the Lakers. Lakers got a chance. By the way, I watched a little bit of the Lakers and the Magic yesterday. So Lakers, Clippers and the Magic yesterday. I was scouting. I had a scouting report yesterday. I had to basically sit down and tell myself, all right, Lakers got the Magic coming up. Let's see what this game's all about. Clippers actually beat them. A little surprising. I got to be honest with everybody. I'm a little surprised how the Clippers are still kind of balling out. That makes no sense to me how they're still playing well, even with some of the injuries that they've had. Anyways, Clippers won yesterday, not balling out, but they're a couple games over 500. 104-93, they beat Orlando. This is what's in front of the Lakers, and this is kind of what they have coming up in front of them, which I think is going to be a little bit unique. You go look in the standings right now, and the Lakers are sitting at 10-4. They got a chance tonight to make it a 7-game winning streak. They're number 3 right now in the Western Conference. I think the thing that sticks out to me more than anything else about this Lakers team is it's been so long where you felt like early in the season they can build momentum. It's been so long since you've looked at the Lakers and you've kind of paid attention to this, and you've looked at a team like this and said to yourselves, I don't think they're going to dig themselves a hole like they've done in the past. Paulo Banchero is not playing tonight for the Orlando Magic, so something to keep in mind. They've had kind of a few different moments and opportunities where there are other players not playing and they've taken advantage of it. Okay, go take advantage of it. Who the hell cares? But that's kind of the spot that the Lakers are in right now. The spot that they're in right now is they get an opportunity tonight. They got Denver coming up on Saturday. I don't know what the latest is with Nikola Jokic. I may go to Saturday's game yet. I'm not 100% sure. But I know Jokic has not, let's see, listed out Tuesday game against the Grizzlies. He didn't play in Tuesday. I don't know if he's going to be playing in any of their games that they got coming up, but you also could potentially be playing a game coming up on Saturday without Nikola Jokic. I hope Jokic plays. I'd rather see Jokic in that lineup and just kind of gauge where the Lakers are. That to me would be more important. But the last thing that I'm going to hit on in regards to just kind of this game specifically, you truly, truly have an opportunity to do something that never seems to happen with the Lakers. Get off to a good start. And they've already done that, but I'm talking about through the first 20 games, you can be 14-6, something along those lines. I don't think that's completely out of the I mean, listen, the schedule is going to get tougher. They're going to go on the road more, so that could all change over time. Okay, I mentioned there was a power rankings, there was a player rankings. Let me just share this with you guys here real quick. There was a player ranking that came out. NBA Central put it out. I'm going to share it with you. We can all look at it together. Let me share this with you guys so you guys can see the same thing that I'm looking at here. Sometimes I actually truly believe people do this primarily because they will get clicks and people will be talking about it. The Ringer put out their top 25 players in the NBA, updated. So this is not that uncommon for people to do this on a more common basis once the season's going. Guys, look where Anthony Davis is. AD is down at number 8. It's funny. And I don't know what the league perception is of Anthony Davis. I just know that I'm watching him every single game. Every single game I'm watching Anthony Davis like everybody else is. Every single game, if you're a Laker fan, you're looking at what this guy is doing. He's not just putting up 35 and 14s, but he's also dominating the other side. He's doing it every single night. There's no question, at least so far this year, Anthony Davis should be in that MVP conversation. I don't really think many people disagree. Look at the MVP chase right now. Not MVP chase, the top 25 players in the league. Just look at the top 10, where they have Anthony Davis. They got Jokic in front of him, Luka in front of him, Giannis in front of him, Tatum in front of him, Shea, Steph, KD, then Anthony Davis at number 8. Can I just say this? I will just say this. unless you're purposely putting Anthony Davis at number 8 because you're trying to get some clicks, unless you're purposely putting it Anthony Davis at number 8 because you have not watched any Los Angeles Lakers basketball this year. But it's an absurd ranking to have Anthony Davis sitting at number 8. It is it is genuinely, and maybe I shouldn't fall into this trap where I'm starting to look at some of these other players, and I'm saying to myself, oh, what is this ranking? How can they do this? Blah blah blah. Maybe it's absurd to do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But I catch myself doing it because it makes just no sense to me at all. How can you have Anthony Davis ranked number 8 right now in the NBA and some of the players in front of him? This would be the only justification that I'd be okay with. The only justification I'd be okay with is if Lakers were getting their asses kicked, and instead of the Lakers being 10-4, that they were 4-10. That'd be the only justification where I could sit back and say, okay, you know what, I get it. Denver's 8-5, and I'm not going to take anything away from Jokic because Jokic is what he is. Denver's 8-5. Dallas is 8-7. I'm just looking at some of the players that are in front of him right now as I look at this. Let's look at a couple other players here. Giannis. Do you guys know where the Milwaukee Bucks are? They're 6-9. Who else is in front of that list? By the way, Joel Embiid at number 9 is absurd. Kevin Durant is off to a great start, but he's injured and he's had his injuries. The way you can't justify this list right here, and the way it is an absurd list, is strictly from that perspective that I just mentioned. The only way you can justify something like this is if the Lakers were not a good team and they were struggling and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Lakers are 10-4. They're third in the Western Conference. They're probably going to win another game tonight. They got a good chance to start out the season out 11-4. We'll see. Orlando's been playing good basketball, but they struggled yesterday. They'll be on a second of a back-to-back. It's pretty absurd to see that player ranking and think Anthony Davis should be at number 8. I didn't know, part of me thinks, do a lot of people now just kind of assume, well, Anthony Davis isn't going to keep this up? Well, your ranking is supposed to be for today. It's not supposed to be what it's going to be in a month or 2 months from now. Maybe people just don't respect Anthony Davis. Maybe there's a lot of, you guys remember this, how many different times when you had Charles Barkley and Shaq and the inside the NBA crew where they'd call them street clothes. It's not completely out of the ordinary for Anthony Davis to get disrespected, but not this year, guys. Last year, by the way, he played 76 games. But this year so far, I don't care if you're a Laker fan, you're not a Laker fan. I don't care, if you're a fan of the NBA, you got to be more respectful to Anthony Davis. And maybe that's not going to happen for a while. Maybe people are going to want to see a longer sample size. Maybe people are going to say to themselves, we don't care. Anthony Davis, he's on the floor too much. Or you know what? He's not going to show up consistently enough. Through these first 14 games, if you don't think Anthony Davis is top 3 in the league, you're not watching Anthony Davis play. You're not watching Anthony Davis on a night in, night out basis. You're not watching Anthony Davis so far this year. Somebody else said something, and maybe you want to put Tatum there, maybe you don't, whatever the case is. Somebody said something to me, I think in one of the chats, where they said that whether Tatum, whether he's on the team or he's not, they're probably still going to be blowing out teams. Of course, you need him for a championship run, but I think the point they was making is there's so much talent on the Boston Celtics, you can get away with it with Tatum. You can't get away with it with Jokic. You can't get away with it with, certainly with Anthony Davis. You can't get away with it with guys like Luka. There's certain guys that are out there in the league, but damn, is there some disrespect around Anthony Davis. Number 8 on the list this year, I think the folks over at the Ringer are either just simply hating, which happens, that's fine, it happens, or they are just not watching Lakers basketball. So none of that makes any sense to me. All right, let me look at some of the comments here. I'm curious. I wonder if people are going to if they are going to back up Anthony Davis, or they're going to say, no, we need a little bit more, a little bit larger of a sample size. AD hate is crazy. Listen, and I think at the end of the day, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Keep stacking up W's. Keep putting yourself in a position where you feel like the Lakers got a good chance of ending the regular season with a good record and everything else. But I'm with you on that one. AR, thank you very much for the super brother. I appreciate that. Slee, if the players, they won't get off social media, at least they should watch the Sleewa show. Just saying, AR, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, the social media piece of that, that is interesting. That some of these guys, I'm sure, are probably on their way to win. Who is it? KD, right? KD is the one. Anything you put out there, KD is going to read. I don't think that's probably the best idea, but Kevin Durant is known for being on social media. We were talking about LeBron saying that he's going to come off social media. AR, thank you again for that super right there. Okay, a lot of Embiid stuff here. I got some questions about the Eastern Conference and what's going on with Philadelphia 76ers. The only other thing that I want to show here real quick before I get into that. So I mentioned in the notes here that I was going to do a player ranking, the Ringer, and then there was a power ranking on ESPN. Just so those know, I always kind of like looking at that. All right, where are these teams? What's the trajectory and everything else? I'm going to show you guys. I don't think anything too crazy here. I think the Lakers continue to move up in some of these in some of these team rankings because of what they're doing. But I'll show it to you guys real quick. So Cavs, 15-1. The only loss they had was to the Celtics. Golden State, give them a lot of credit. They're balling out. They're 10-3. Okay. Boston, number 3 in the power rankings, 12-3. OKC, 11-4. Again, another team that's solid in the in the Western Conference. Houston's kind of the surprise one to me, to be honest with you. I knew Houston was going to be good. I didn't know they were going to be this good. That's going to be a tough, feisty team to play on a night in, night out basis. Denver is on here as well. I don't know how they're ranked in front of the Lakers. And then the Lakers are right here at 10-4. So Lakers are number 7. Top 7 right now in the league. If you guys remember before the season started, Lakers were 10th in the Western Conference. So top 7 right now in the entire NBA, certainly getting a little bit of love, a little bit of respect in that perspective from ESPN. All right, look up more of these comments, and then I want to keep moving. I got a couple NBA questions as well for everybody. Part of it's going to be on this, the Paul George stuff, the Philadelphia 76ers. Thank you for that comment right there. I appreciate that. That's an interesting one. All right, because of the East Coast, a lot of people don't watch Lakers basketball, 7:30, 10:30 back east. Yeah, but I think there's some common sense to it. I think Steph Curry, when Kevin Durant was with the Golden State Warriors, KD is now with the Phoenix Suns. There's a lot of teams or a lot of great players that are out here towards the West Coast. Whether they're watching those games or they're not, I think it's absurd to have some of those rankings like I mentioned. So I don't know what's going on in the Eastern Conference. What happened to the East? Or maybe this is always the East. Now, some of these teams are starting to win. Knicks got off to a really bad start, but there was a stretch there where only 2 teams were above 500. The Cavs and the Boston Celtics were the only 2 teams that were actually above 500, and everybody else was at 500 or below. So the Knicks are now 9-6. Orlando, I think, won 6 in a row before they lost yesterday. Miami's starting to turn things around a little bit, even though they're 6-7. There are 4 teams right now above 500 in the entire Eastern Conference. And then you got weird scenarios out there. There was some stuff about, are the Milwaukee Bucks going to blow it up? Are they going to fire Doc Rivers? They just hired Doc Rivers. That team, nothing seems authentic about it. And then you got a team like the Philadelphia 76ers. What are the Sixers going to do? You guys know the Philadelphia 76ers are 2-12. Now, listen, they've missed a lot of players. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid was out for a while. Paul George injured his knee yesterday. Feel incredibly bad for him, but that seems to be just part of the story that's come with Paul George. Again, that sucks if you're not even a Sixers fan. If you're just an NBA fan, I feel bad for Paul George. I really do. I feel bad for him. This is there are stories right now that are all on kind of the front cover of ESPN and NBA on the ESPN page. PG setback, Sixers, the big 3, really not getting an opportunity to show what they can do. They're 2-12. There was a story out there that Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid in a all-team meeting, basically saying you're late to everything. You got to set the standard, set the table, and Embiid hasn't been able to do that. Then Embiid put out there, it's bullshit that story got out. I mean, the teams like the Bucks and the Sixers that you just assumed are going to be top 4 in the Eastern Conference. Not only is the East awful, but 2 teams that you thought are going to have, a huge impact and a huge say in the standings and everything else. I don't know what the hell's going on with those teams, and I don't know if it's going to get any better at all. All right, let's look at some more of the comments here. Not a bad idea. Joey's a good dude. Slee, sativa or indica? It's a great question. Depends the day, depends the time. A lot of factors go into it. Am I inside or am I outside? Am I watching a movie or am I hanging out? A lot that goes into that. Eddie, you might be right. You might be right. All right, we'll leave that one alone right there. Okay, let's keep going here. I want a couple other stories that I want to get into, and we'll take some of your comments and go from there. People love that question. Yeah, I'm just happy I'm in the state of California, right? When it comes to that, I'm happy I'm in the state of California. Okay. I saw something that I want to share with you guys, and I think some Dodger fans are going to hyperventilate when they see this. You're fine. You got enough players, okay? Don't worry about it. You're fine. Roki Sasaki. I don't know if this is additional news. I don't know if it's new news, but obviously this man has been the conversation of the entire offseason. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit of baseball, and then towards the end of the show, we'll kind of swing back. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to NBA. I'll answer some of your questions, and then we'll call it a day today. Lakers, by the way, got a game tonight. What's going on with these 7:30 starts, guys? Come on, man. What is going on with this 7:30 start? I mean, do people not know I got a show starting at 8 a.m. in the morning? 7:30 start. 7:30 start tonight. 7:30 start coming on on Saturday as well. So late starts. I'll be doing the post-game show, by the way. Okay, let's switch gears here real quick to the Dodgers. All right, I want to show you guys something here. And if this plays, it plays. Yeah, let me try to play it. I know, we were having that audio earlier, so if it doesn't play, then I'll just read you the quote. Either way, you guys tell me if you guys can hear this thing all loud and clear.
I mean, look, I'm just telling you what I learned in talking to a lot of people that are in the know with the player himself, who, by the way, is going to make the decision. He's not one of those players that's going to go where Wasserman and Joe Wolf is.
Let me pause it for a quick second. There's a podcast called Foul Territory. Really good, actually. Great breakdown specifically on the baseball side of things. Jim Bowden, who wrote an article about maybe a week ago or so, talking about how he does not think that the Dodgers are going to get Roki Sasaki. And he goes into his argument about there's a lot of people. I think the argument was more, it's not, since this isn't just a financial decision, does he want his own team? He kind of goes into a lot of different things in regards to his article. Listen to him explaining again, kind of doubling down why he doesn't think that he's going to end up with the Dodgers. Take a quick look here as I continue playing this.
Agent are going to send him. He's going to make his own call. But the sense I get from everyone is that the narrative of him going to the Dodgers, it's way more likely he signs elsewhere than he signs there. And I'm not saying at the end of the day, perhaps he changes his mind. Perhaps Ohtani and Yamamoto can convince him. But if based on what I'm hearing, I would say 85% chance he does not sign with the Dodgers.
Okay, so that's Bowden right there. 85% chance that he doesn't sign with the Dodgers. There was also another article out there. So Bowden is doubling down. Roki Sasaki, this is the biggest name. This is obviously, he's big for so many reasons. Number one, he's big because he's He's a big time player. He's incredibly young. And oh, by the way, you don't have to pay him $325 million or $300 million or $275 million. You're going to have him under team control for about 6 years. The first 3 years, as much of a discount as you could possibly think of. Then he goes into arbitration, and you'll start paying him more, but nothing. It evens the playing field. So what it does, and this is what makes Roki Sasaki's situation so interesting. Plus, he's incredibly young. He's got incredible upside. That whole thing. He's going to give you an entire market of Japan. Obviously, we know how much Japan loves their baseball, and they got a couple players right now in Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani that won a World Series in the second largest market in the country. There are so many reasons why Roki Sasaki is such a big deal of where he ends up signing. But the biggest deal is this is not going to come down to who writes the biggest check. There was also an article out there. The agent for Roki Sasaki refuted the notion the Japanese starting pitcher already has an informal deal in place with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm going to read this. This is the agent of Roki Sasaki saying, while a bunch of executives who should know me better and do a lot of business with me insult my integrity by insinuating that I would be part of some type of nefarious agreement. In reality, this is just poor sportsmanship. Basically, what he's saying is there is no agreement with the Dodgers. Let's let this thing play out. I don't know where he's going to end up signing. It's his decision, not my decision. Maybe he ends up with the Miami Marlins or the Cleveland Guardians or the Cincinnati Reds or the San Diego Padres or go down the Seattle Mariners, go down the list of all these other teams that are out there. If I could be honest with everybody here, for how aggressive his agent is trying to be, basically saying it's poor sportsmanship. Why would this get leaked out? All these executives should know me better. I would never do, you're questioning my integrity. You're insulting my integrity. After reading his quote, I'm like, I think he's going to the Dodgers. Do you guys feel the same vibe? When somebody gets so defensive about something, when somebody out of left field is like, how dare you question me? How dare you this? I feel like that person's got a little bit more to hide rather than the person that's just kind of quiet, silent. If he came back with a quote and just said, guys, I don't pay attention to any of the rumors that are out there. I don't care about any of the rumors out there. I'm worried about my client. With my client, we're going to make a decision. This is completely up to him, and I leave it alone. But when somebody gets super, super aggressive and defensive and, I thought you guys knew me better. How dare you question my authority? Blah, blah, blah. Immediately, I start saying to myself, well, that's not good. So they're going to get another player? Listen, I got no idea, obviously, what's going to happen to Roki. I know there's a lot of Dodger fans that are on here, primarily because, this channel was built off Laker fans, and most Laker fans also have an affiliation with the Dodgers, except me and 11 others that are on here. We go Padres where I am. But I don't know if you guys read it the same way. He's so defensive about it. It feels like to me that because he's so defensive about it, Roki Sasaki did not like that this information was already out there, but here's the problem. He's been associated with the Dodgers now for a year. He's been associated for so long with the Dodgers that's why a lot of that conversation is out there. Jim Bowden feels like he's going to die on his sword, saying that he's not going to the Dodgers. There's an 85 to 90% chance that that's not going to happen. We'll see what eventually happens. But I think at the end of the day, when you see somebody that gets so super defensive, then I instantly start kind of having some doubt on some of that stuff. All right, let's read some of your comments here. All right, Mike, who gives an F where Sasaki goes? Everyone knows Sasaki will not make the same amount of endorsement money anywhere else but LA. Well, Mike, I have a feeling you care where he goes because you did all caps on me. I mean, you're yelling at me. You're yelling at the audience. What happened here? Everything's okay. Yeah, listen, I think I'm going to make this argument, and I'm going to make it. I had a similar argument last year, and I was wrong. I thought Yamamoto would end up signing somewhere else because I thought Yamamoto was going to want his own shine. And I'm not telling you that Yamamoto was going to go to a small market, but I thought Yamamoto would go to New York or go to Boston or go to Chicago. I thought he was going to go to one of those top markets that are, they got baseball fans everywhere. And I thought there was going to be some hesitation of him ending up with the Dodgers specifically because, guys, Shohei's already there. Shohei's already going to get all the love and all the shine. And by the way, that played out. Shohei got all the shine and the love this year. Yamamoto wasn't talked about 1/100th of the time as often as Shohei was until you got to the postseason. And Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto took his game to another level come postseason. And now it wasn't just about Shohei Ohtani. It was about Yamamoto in Game 5 against the Padres. It was Yamamoto in key games against the Mets, key games against the Yankees in the World Series where he was just terrific. But would Yamamoto have got more endorsement money in New York? Probably. Why wouldn't he? He owns the entire market. He owns that entire franchise. But he also got $325 million to play with the Dodgers. And I think that's what makes Roki Sasaki a little bit more interesting, is because that situation and that predicament is going to be different because he's not going to get this, $200 or $300 million contract. All right, let's see what we got here. Dodgers won the World Series with 3 starting pitchers. Yeah, and I wouldn't even say that. I would say, Walker Buehler was a question mark the entire time. So who knows how that would have gone. Mike, okay. Mike brought it down. He brought the tone down a little bit. Mike walked into a bar and he started raising his voice, basically saying, "Who wants some?" That's how Mike walked in there. No, Mike, I'm just playing with you, bro. All love. Nothing but love here. Nothing but love. Yeah, I think they do announce the MVPs today. Somebody's asking when the awards are going to be. They already announced Rookie of the Year. Paul Skeens got it. My boy Jackson Merrill. Man, that guy got no votes. I thought Jackson Merrill was going to at least make it at least some kind of a close call, but it wasn't at all. I think Skeens got like 23 of the 29 first place votes, something like that. They announced Manager of the Year. The dude from the Brewers got it. So they're already announcing some of these awards. I think Cy Youngs have already been announced. But MVPs, I think everybody knows. I think everybody already kind of knows, from an MVP. Shohei's going to win MVP. Shohei's definitely going to win MVP. All right, let's get to a couple of these comments, and then we're going to keep this thing going. Actually, let's do this real quick. The Gotta See It. So, Gotta See It I'm going to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anytime I see something that I want to share with you guys, it might be a video on YouTube. It might be something on social media. It might be whatever it is. Mondays, I got the weekend recap. Tuesdays, I got Gotta See It. Wednesdays, I got Ask Slee. Thursdays, I got Gotta See It. And then Friday, we do the weekend preview. So I already kind of have a little bit of kind of setting the menu here. Some of these might last. Some of these I might say, hey, these are great. Others I might say, you know what? I don't know if I'm crazy about it, but the only way you do this stuff is you kind of try out some different things and see what clicks and what doesn't. All right, Gotta See It. Let me show you guys this real quick. I saw this yesterday. Legion Hoops put this out. Man, there's some really, really good social accounts out there that do a phenomenal job of just putting up different conversations, putting up different just things to kind of get you thinking here from either a sports perspective or whatever the case is. Look what Legion Hoops put out there. If you're an NBA fan, you know what I'm talking about. Which NBA player has the best signature celebration of all time? There's probably some out here that are not on here. Okay. So again, I'm going to give Legion Hoops their credit because they're the ones that put this out. You got LeBron doing his thing. You got the Steph goodnight. You got Sam Cassell saying, yeah, take a look at these right here. You got Jordan with the shrug. You got Carmelo with the 3, and you got Dame with Dame time. I got to be honest with you guys. There's 2 that instantly come to my mind that I'm like, it's coming down to these 2. Okay, I'll tell you guys which 2 that it's coming down to. For me, when Steph started doing the good night, I don't know why that is one of the most cold-blooded celebrations that I've ever seen. Remember when he did it against the Boston Celtics? He was doing it early in that game, too. They're at Boston. It's game 6 of the NBA Finals. And Steph, in like the third quarter, was like, first he was pulling up the ring. Go ahead and put a ring on it. And then he was also, I'm like, Steph, you sure you want to do the good night, everybody, right now? For me, it comes down to Steph doing the good night. And there's something about the Dame time when he was in Portland, not when he was with Milwaukee, because I don't know what's going on with the Bucks and what's going on with him in Milwaukee. There's something about the Dame time. I mean, the guy's Damian Lillard. Game time is basically what you say. That's one of the coldest things that you could possibly say in the game of basketball. When you hit a shot and while the ball is still in the air, it's like, yeah, that's game. That's game time. That's game time. And then you got Damian Lillard just basically saying Dame time and pointing at his watch like, it's over, guys. Guys, the clock was ticking. That's it. For me, it's those two that are the coldest of all these celebrations that are out there. I just thought that was cool to see, something a little bit different. But I'll read some of your guys' comments of what you guys think. But those two are the coldest to me. I do like this. Somebody said the too small. The too small is really good as well. All right. The Steph celebration is weak. Torian Prince started it. Maybe you're right. I've been watching it now. I got no problem with it. Dame time here. Night is another one. Curry's is currently the best right now. Well, not according to Lake Show B. Too small is the other one I mentioned. Okay, Kobe with a mob and Mattel, but that's not a celebration. That's just his reaction. That's just his reaction. MJ's crazy shot. I don't know. All right, a lot of people here saying Steph stole it from Torian Prince. Connect Shrug is already getting in here. The Mutombo finger wag. R.I.P. Mutombo. LeBron and the one shrug. Anyways, those are all solid. I love the good night, everybody. And of course, like I mentioned, the Dame time as well. Okay, let me set a couple things up for you guys here as we come to the end of the show. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a solid hour. Another really good show. So thank you all for being here and hanging out. I'm back on tonight. So tonight I will be doing the post-game show. So Lakers are going to take on the Orlando Magic. Right after the game, I'll be back handling my business, reacting to the Lakers game. We've been getting some really, really solid numbers across the board. I mean, this show really have seen some fantastic growth in the show in the almost 7 weeks that I've been on. So thank you all I think a lot of it has to do with the consistency. Everybody knows I'm going to be on at 8 a.m., but thank you very much for taking the time and, obviously being a part of the show. Post-game show, some of these numbers, these last couple of games and everything else, and I know that has an effect. You see Dalton Connect, what he's doing, but I think people are just getting more and more accustomed to knowing that I'm on YouTube 100%. So thank you very much for helping out with the growth and the numbers. I've mentioned this to you guys before. I'll mention it again. If you guys don't mind, just subscribe to the channel. That's all I'm asking for right now. There's going to be other times where I'm asking for other things. There's going to be other times where I'm asking for your opinion. There's going to be other times where I'm asking for your help on something. But for now, just subscribe to the channel. That's it. Subscribe and like. Subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. That helps out a ton, and I'll keep trying to grow this channel. Thank you for being here. I will be back tonight. Lakers taking on the Orlando Magic. See if the Lakers can make it 7 in a row. So thank you very much. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see everybody tonight after the Lakers and the Magic.